In years past, I would make a lot of goals that were more so based around numbers that I had no control over. And I feel like a lot of you probably did something similar. Like you put down an arbitrary goal saying, I want to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've realized that over the past couple years that I've been on social media and doing all this stuff, that having those types of goals kind of that I don't really have a lot of control over, they just kind of mess with my head. And I think I'm done putting down goals like that. Because take it from me, hitting a certain number of subscribers or followers or what have you on whatever platform that you're looking at really doesn't mean anything unless the content that you're making is fulfilling you. It doesn't matter how many new things are coming out that I'm excited for. I just cannot do the thing that the algorithm wants me to do, which is to talk about the new thing. I have to sit back and process it a little bit before I can talk about it. Case in point, I still haven't seen the Andor show. I know that it's good. I have heard that it is amazing. Don't worry, I will watch it. But anyways, my 2023 goals. So where are we going with this? My 2023 goals are going to be a little bit more refined. At least I like to think that they are. I feel like I've walked through a lot of the mess of what kind of trips me up about how I work. There's no secret that what I do on this channel is not just me sitting in this chair and recording. You know, I outline all of my videos. I have to make the things, I have to make the cosplay things to put on the videos. Like there's a lot of facets to having a YouTube channel that I think I'm only really starting to understand, and it's like my third year doing it. What are my 2023 goals? And I thought I would also throw in like the conventions that I'm planning on going to. So let's start off with the conventions because there's not that many. The two conventions that I am planning on going to next year are PAX East in Boston, which I believe is going from March 23rd to March 26th, and Dragon Con at the end of September. Now there's a few conventions that I am probably going to like apply to be a guest at, but even then it's like a list of like 2 conventions. If there are conventions you'd like to see me at, definitely leave them down below, or even better yet, you can usually go onto their actual website and request specific guests, and that usually tends to work out better by having multiple people request someone. But again, if there's places you would like me to go, definitely let me know. So that's it for my convention plans right now. As more pop up, I will definitely like let you guys know on the community tab, or maybe I'll make a video about it. But let's get on to why you're really here, and that is my 2023 cosplay goals. My first goal, and the one that I'm going to be spending a lot of my focus on this year, is finishing this Aloy cosplay. Now for those of you that don't know, Aloy is a character from the game Horizon Zero Dawn. It came out in 2017, and most recently there was a new game that came out, Horizon Forbidden West, that came out February of 2022. I have wanted to make this specific armor. This is her, like, I guess her original armor. It's the one that you see on like all the promotional things. And I've been wanting to make this cosplay since the game came out, basically. I remember watching so many of Grace Willow's tutorials on how to make this costume and going through that whole process. And I've been watching the crap out of those videos again to get myself prepped to make my own costume. And it's just time. It's time for me to make this costume. I got back into Horizon really heavily in 2022, especially at the very back end of it. I have been playing so much of it over the past 2 weeks because I'm on vacation from work, and I've just been falling back in love with Aloy as a character. I absolutely love her growth from the first game to this one. It really kind of mirrors my own journey in a lot of ways, and I'm just very excited to jump back into it. I've made a few things. I have already filmed a few build vlogs for this costume, and that is another thing. I'm going to be getting back into build vlogs this year. You may not know this, but I actually vlog pretty much everything that I make nowadays. Even if I don't post it, I have it for myself. It really is a nice like video diary of what I did or what I was thinking, my thought process as I was making something, and those videos really help me out whenever I'm making the tutorial, usually like 6 months to a year later in the case of Bo-Katan. So there's gonna be a lot more build vlogs coming. There will still be these types of videos where I'm like sitting down, chatting, tutorials. It's gonna be a lot of just like getting back to the love of the process. I love just watching somebody's creative process and seeing how they navigate these really minuscule things that you might not think about whenever you're first getting into the hobby. You know, like, why did you choose this specific fabric? Or why is this detail not on your cosplay? And usually if there's not a detail on your cosplay, it's because you just ran out of time. Those kind of little things. I really enjoy making those types of videos, and I hope that you will enjoy them. Aloy, she's happening this year. I'm getting that costume done for Dragon Con, whether I end up going to Dragon Con or not. It is getting done this year because, God, I've had that fabric. I've had so many supplies for it for so long. It is time. I'm gonna be Aloy again. And on that same note, my second goal is to rewear another Aloy cosplay that I have. There was a costume that I made back in 2018. It was this Aloy costume right here. Technically her Nora Lookout armor from Horizon Zero Dawn. It was a pre-order bonus only, and at the time whenever I was making that costume, I worked off of like 3 reference photos, I want to say. Now there were a couple of Aloys in the community who actually reached out to Guerrilla Games, and they provided a lot more like screenshots and stuff. Gorilla is like amazing in terms of community engagement, but at the time I only had 3 reference photos. In the spirit of 2022, where I was rewearing a lot of costumes, I really want to rewear Aloy. And I think that the fact that I'm making this newer costume is a good excuse to do that, because I'm gonna have the wig anyway. And that's really like the big thing that I just gotta get done again, is finishing, I'm making another wig for Aloy. I just gotta get the box out of my garage. I gotta go through it, see what needs repaired, what might need remade, what have you. And I would just love to wear that again, because I made that costume in such a bad place. Like I was not doing well. I was not doing well mentally in that space, but at the time, that is what I needed to do. I just had to have a project to focus on for like a month and a half, crunch that thing for KatsuCon, and I'm very happy that I finished it. But it was also one of those things where I look back on it and I'm like, man, like it was just a rough time. I would not recommend making a costume in that way that I did. I'm sure I'll make a video on that entire thing later on, but I'm just excited to rewear this costume that I love so much. There's a reason that it is the costume that I have featured on my banner whenever I go to conventions. To me, it represents the fact that I was able to make that costume in spite of everything that had happened like the year before. I'm just excited to rewear it again in a way better headspace, and like mentally, physically, like a lot of things. And tentatively, I would love to take it to PAX East. I'm not going to like sell myself to that. Is that even the right phrase? I'm not gonna like attach myself to that if I don't end up getting the wig done, but that would be cool to take it back to PAX East, because that was one of the last times I wore it. I haven't worn that costume since 2018, and it would be just, I just think it would be nice. So I encourage you, if you have any like costumes that are just laying around, or you know, costumes that you really enjoyed that you just haven't worn in a while, like go grab them, see if they still fit. Maybe wear them again, do some more photos in them. There's nothing wrong with having a photo shoot, or even just wearing a costume that you've made years ago. Like it's still perfectly fine. And then finally, this is more of an accountability goal for myself and to you guys. I'm finally going to finish the Bo-Katan tutorials from that costume that I finished like a year ago. I can't tell you how just on survival mode I was the past couple of months trying to get videos and content out for you guys, but my poor little brain just could not handle making tutorials whenever I was working on the house. It was just too much. I have outlined both of those videos that are going to go up. There's one that's just going to be going all over the armor, the painting process, all that stuff, and then one on the soft parts and attachments and the wig and things like that. They're gonna get filmed this week, so that's coming. This is me talking to myself in the future, editing this video, get it done. The goal is to get those done before season 3 of the Mando releases. I want to say it's what, March 1st that the first episode comes out. It just has been weighing on my shoulders. I know you guys understand where I've been coming from, and I've just been busy, but it has just, it's one of those things where I gotta clear it off my plate, because it's there in my head and it won't go away until I just finish it. And of course, I've got some other goals that like I won't share, because I do believe in keeping some goals to yourself and just kind of showing up one day and being like, hey, I'm here. But I do just want to like circle back, and oh my god, did I really just say circle back in my fucking YouTube video? I do want to go back to the beginning of the video where I was talking about being happy with the stuff that I have made in the past and re-wearing a lot of costumes, and just getting back to the reason why I love this hobby. And the reason that I love this hobby is just sharing pretty much everything about it that I do. I love sharing my process, my thought process, as backwards as it may be at times. I have realized through sharing it with you guys that a lot of you kind of commiserate and understand. I get a lot of questions about how I plan my costumes or plan my projects, and for a while whenever I was on YouTube, I really wanted to be like, oh, I know, like here's like the 10 steps that you need to do. And I've realized through like a lot of my own kind of self-growth and introspection that that's not how I operate. I really kind of just am like a tornado whenever it comes to starting these projects. And then like maybe a month or two into the project, I actually kind of sit down and plan what I'm doing. And I understand that that comes from a lot of just experience in making costumes. I just want to show you guys that like there's no wrong way to like plan or to execute a costume, because for a while I was kind of hating on myself for not planning costumes in a way that made sense to other people. Like I gave that panel at Fan Expo Cleveland last year on how to plan a cosplay, and I'll link it right here for you guys. And what I talk about in that panel is all true. It's just that I had to lay it out in a way that it made sense to teach to other people. So you see those 10 steps or however many I had in that panel, and you think like, oh, I follow 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, completely. Whereas in actuality, I'm bouncing around from like step 1 to step 5 to step 2 to step 7 to like whatever, what have you. And a good example of that is I have actually already started working on my Aloy cosplay that I was just talking about. I've actually already finished the shirt. I haven't properly planned out how I'm going to do the rest of the costume. I have a rough idea in my head, but it's not on paper yet. And that's fine because I'm getting stuff done. I know what I'm doing. I know how to get to the next point, and I kind of leave myself breadcrumbs here and there to be like, okay, this is what you finished. This is what you got to do next time that you come down and craft. I want to share more of that with you guys because I feel like a lot of people, especially tutorials, they're like very regimented and what have you, and this is how things go and this is how you do it. And again, those have a place. However, the way that I make stuff is kind of messy, and I feel like I've kind of shied away from showing that on the channel. I'm just a mess, guys. Like, I'm sorry, that's how I am. And then the last thing is I really just want to share a lot about these properties and these characters and these fandoms of the costumes that I'm creating with you guys. In previous videos, I would share little snippets of stuff like Persona and other games that I'm into, like Mass Effect, and just kind of bring you into why I like what I like, maybe in turn inspire you to try them out yourself, because one of the best compliments I could ever receive is, I loved your cosplay so much that it made me interested in the game or the movie and I went and checked it out. Like, that means so much to me, and so many people have told me stuff like that, and it just like every time it's like, I can't believe this, like what? I feel like I've again fallen away from doing that, and that is why I do this. That is why a lot of people do this, is they just love something so much that they have to make it reality and have it physically in their world. And in our case, we want to become the characters. I have so many ideas for stuff like that, like with Aloy especially, talking about like the lore behind that costume. Like, not even just the one that I'm going to be working on now, but like the lore and how the other Nora Lookout armor was constructed like in the game, you know what I mean? I find that stuff so interesting, and I feel like maybe that would be like a fun thing to talk about, you know? So those are my goals. I hope that you enjoyed this little rambly video about where I'm hoping to take the channel in 2023. I hope you guys are excited. I'm so enthusiastic and excited about the things to come. There's a lot of things that I actually haven't even discussed in this video because I gotta keep some things secret. Like, I gotta keep my mouth shut even though I really want to tell you right now. But again, I want to know what you guys are planning for this year. What are your goals? What are your big projects? What are some things that you're hoping to accomplish this year? Again, thank you so much to my Patreon supporters for all of your support. And if you want to join me over there, it is patreon.com/vaultfox. And as always, I will catch you guys next time. Bye!